art of confronting one's destiny, fate, karma, or what have you. Appropriately apropos, as every cyclical season is, for we are now at the heart and center of winter's cold embrace once again. And though it brings ice that bites like teeth of steel far afield, 'tis a time of and or for calm nurturing, cool-headedness, and detached contemplation, particularly since and or when faced, dealing, or contending with the as yet unknown, or come what may. Leading into this darkest of seasonal initiations, we are and or were reminded to take stock of what one's got, as in allies, materials, resources, tools, support, and whatnot. See December 28th's post, which then led deeper into the fundamental depths of understanding, or rather realization, or knowing and or kenning, in that ultimately how one responds to anything, that is anything at all, is solely your prerogative and one's responsibility, and yours alone to bear, carry, and or reveal in the broadest and narrowest sense, no matter what dynamics is and or are playing out. And despite any concerns or issues raised in protest thereof, whether under influence or for sake of insight, it's all the same. One basically sinks or swims by their own hands, as the fond old saying goes. Or in other less winded words, you can only think and breathe for yourself. And these next 2 lunar weeks, from 113 to 128, are when one's past is in balance with the present, creating space and opportunity for long sought outcomes and plans to manifest in a sort of synergy of sorts, or in modern parlance, something akin to the law of attraction. And it's all about how one feels, what one thinks really matters. See? As in, it's the positive or negative charge that counts. Got it? Verily, we are now at a milestone time, which can be seen as a kind of early graduation, or the end of the breaking in period in dearly beloved Mother Nature's curriculum vitae. Presently, when Her Majesty's particular lessons and rites of passages learned and practiced over the last 2 lunar bi-week sessions finally culminate. But of course, only after a sobering accounting and laying a solid foundation has been set, which of course is always the most sound and stable basis to build any sturdy endeavor upon anyway. The devoted effort and embodiment of which manifests to bring harmony and healing to both oneself as well as one's ancestral lineages as well. Ironically, that is, depending on how well one accepts the things one cannot change or knows has no control over, and how one responds is of paramount importance and influence when it comes to the whims of destiny, fate, or self-actualization. At least that's what the Vikings did and sought to do, which is where this is keyed into, thanks to the calendarized staves of the elder Firthark, because they knew that due to the recurring nature and organic progression of every year, such support would naturally be available and specifically offered at this very time of the season to accomplish just that. As they do so beautifully turn, and in turn, turn in unison, with added emphasis being attentiveness to how and what one wants to ideally create, which, of course, takes some degree of foresight, not to mention reading the signals, signs, and or symbols ahead of and or on time for good measure, which takes practice, of course. And though new habits be as hard to make as old ones are to break, rest assured it should only take about 100 good repetitions in place of the old in order to make the desired jib and or tack stick like glue. Besides sailing, think of it like going to a gym, only you're the only member and sole owner of same. And as everyone in the know knows, if you want to get buffed and wealthy, it ain't going to happen by itself, nor overnight. Legitimately, it's going to take some hard, sweaty work and commitment to write that part of thy life correctly, or for one to get to where one wants to go, for that matter, which isn't necessarily going to happen right away either. Capacity, pace, and resourcefulness are ye main ingredients to ever consider. Destiny, fate, or whim, karma, whatever have you, doesn't just happen accidentally or at random nor without rhyme or reason, while likewise, neither is there an easy way to predict such actions or outcomes as might occur, though they most certainly have been and may be, if not otherwise likely already seen. Rather, what's presented or presents itself herein is a certain set of potential options or possibilities within reach and power of one's own ways and means for and or of addressing, engaging, healing, solving, surmounting, or visualizing any given problem, obstacle, or challenge in order to manifest one's purest impulses and or inclinations from the best mutually beneficial position and or vantage point possible. On the spot, no less, akin to threading the needle and sewing a tapestry, so to speak, simply enough, and yet much easier said than actually done. In a nutshell, think thimble or thumbelina. This time of year, every year, instructs and teaches us as to what self-controlled, devoted, or obligated manifestation really entails. 'Tis nothing less than full-on self-driven participation in one's own growth and development, and the vicarious betterment of others as a passive byproduct to boot, too. Woohoo! Requiring nothing short of heeding or knowing the past, that is, history, whilst balancing actions and or service in the here and now, as in being, and taking responsibility or accountability for future generations to come. And just to be as crystal clear as a soothsayer's ball and clock's bell, ye sins or transgressions of our fathers, mothers, sisters, and brothers alike, who behaved thusly before us, had and or has an indirect and or direct affect and or effect upon one's own fate, destiny, or what you want to call it. Or didn't you know and or don't you know? While likewise, so too does one's present behavior influence more of same, including this and that happening around you constantly, no less. Not to mention those family members to come whom are sure to follow in thy wake, if not footsteps too. Just remember, we are one and all, as is anything and everything, delicately interconnected to everything else, past, present, and future, and then some. And thus is the above process of confrontation or confronting one's fate, destiny, what have you, is accomplished by measured degrees. So be in the moment and make the most of it wherever you may be, because thou art always there anyway. PERTRO.